Hello, beautiful ones. Today I thought I'd just share a simple sunrise with you, that's all. Just pausing, presencing, witnessing the sun rising on a new day and knowing that infinite possibilities are available to you, to everyone.
Hello beautiful ones, this is Eliza Kendall coming to you from Bundjalung country, northern New South Wales in Australia. It is the 10th, Thursday the 10th of September. This is a weekly spirit report offered to simply pass on information that I've received from the various spirits I work with throughout the week, as well as anyone that wants to drop in with us and sharing information in the moment. Wow. I'm sitting in my new sanctum, my new treatment space, and I'm thrilled with it. I am, seeing just amazing, inspiring, awesome clients right now. So many people are so ready to be activated, to be illuminated, to have their hearts awakened, to be really clear and to really retrieve all of their soul and step fully into their purpose right now in 2020. It's just such a remarkable time. I'm digging it. So there's a python has moved into my house. I spoke about that last week. Seems to be potentially nesting above my head, above my bed, in my room. I can hear it moving along the roof at night time. It's super creepy and so fantastic. I am so connected to this snake now, and it's really obvious that I've called this in. I sent out a call and I have invoked this creature to come and be with me and exchange information with me, and I can feel it when it's above me. I can feel this knowledge pouring down to me, and I'm digging it right now. So anyway, that's my personal, which of course is always feeding into my professional life, excitement right now among many other things. So I've just finished a QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique session today. If you don't know about this technique, it's Dolores Cannon's work. I recommend you type Dolores Cannon into a search engine and check her out, because it is phenomenal work. After 25 years in the healing arts, this is the very best, most potent, effective, efficiently healing, working, illuminating, activating, all of it technique that I've come across. It's just amazing. But today, something really, really interesting. It's always very interesting, of course, but something really beautiful came up that I wanted to share with you. The client who we were viewing some of her past lives, one of her past lives, she was acting as, we could say that she was like a star. She described herself as a star that cannot be seen with the eyes. So she wasn't an embodied star. She was the essence of a star, and what she was doing was, with other stars, she was formulating sacred geometry, and that geometry was then being used and sent various places within the cosmos for healing. So the structure of that was that the central sun sent the shape that was to be made to these beings, and each one acted as a different point in the geometric shape, with one in the middle. they would get into formation, and then they would start to spin this way and this way to kind of make this sphere. Now, she said that the sphere, the act of that spinning, they didn't spin, but when they came into formation, the shape started to spin, and that spinning created a portal. And then that took the shape, which was a sacred geometry healing shape, to wherever it needed to go for whatever purpose, which was above her pay grade, so to speak. So she didn't know what that was. But I spoke to this being for some time. It was very interesting. And so, there was some really beautiful conversations that also came out when I later on spoke to the superconscious. And we were speaking about a couple of words that I really want to point out to you, because I'm really into words, I believe, and more I'm coming to accept in my full spectrum of my understanding that every word is an incantation. So I put a lot of weight on words. I take words quite seriously, and I'm really keen to feel the vibrational frequency of a word and also notice how it changes. I'm keen to release words if they're no longer holding what I kind of think to be, an appropriate new earth vibrational frequency. And so a couple of these words came up actually. We were talking about the word sacred. I think I maybe used the word sacred geometry, and the superconscious that I was speaking to was like, well, it's not sacred. Everything is sacred. And kind of, I'm not going to quote what was said verbatim, but what I'm going to share with you is the summary of what I have understood through this conversation. And what I've understood through this conversation is that by using the word sacred onto things, we actually make it something that is outside of ourselves. We make it something that is separate. For example, I am going to perform a sacred ceremony, or I want to learn how to perform sacred ceremony. What that indicates is that sacredness is not going to come until I perform the ceremony, or until I've learned how to perform the sacred ceremony, when we are essentially sacred. Everything within us is sacred. And what was also said was that nothing is sacred, which I found really fascinating. And it really came quite clear to me. And to be honest, it was more of an impression that I am still with my conscious mind integrating. And I'm curious of the understanding that will come for you from this as well, around that nothing is sacred, because nothing is more special than anything else, because it's the same with divinity. I was saying to someone the other day something along the lines of like, I activate people's divinity or something. And the person I was talking to said, well, everything is divine. And I was like, oh yeah, that's my ego, And just, this same thing with this word sacred. If you are making it something that is separate or something that you are yet to achieve, that's not really that accurate. It's keeping it distant from you. It's also keeping it in some kind of a hierarchy that you have to be a certain thing or achieve a certain status in order to have sacredness, or to know sacredness, or to access sacredness, when in fact nothing is sacred, because everything just is. We also had a brilliant conversation about potential. We were speaking about how within the space, within the sphere as it's spinning, the sacred geometry is spinning within the sphere, there is then, the healing potential. And the subconscious was wonderful to correct me and actually say, well, no, potential is not an accurate word, because potential, and again, this is now what I'm understanding about it, potential is also limited, and it's something that is outside of you. It's something that you are yet to obtain. And so the word that was given to me instead was possibility, which I think is fantastic. And I'm not going to use the word potential anymore. I'm going to instead use the word possibility. Now, potential is a word I've used a lot. I'm going to activate your potential, or I see your potential, or I see potential in other people, and I focus on that and I feed into that. When really, what does that mean? Seeing someone's potential. It means I'm seeing who they may or may not be in the future. I'm not seeing the possibility of who they already are, or the possibility of who they can be. And so I wanted to just kind of share this with you and just kind of lay this out in front of you to see if there's something juicy here for you as well, because I found it really fascinating and I'm going to keep thinking about it. I'm going to be removing that word potential, and I'm going to be instead thinking about, because we were talking about the void and the unknown and moving into the unknown. And again, I think I used the potential, you know, that I think I asked a question that was like, well, you know, the unknown is in my understanding, the place where we have access to the most potential. And the superconscious was like, oh no, it's the most possibility. It's not potential. So I find that really interesting, really cool. And I also think this about this word divine. You know, we want to make it something that is above us, something that is outside of us, something that we have to take certain actions in order to access divinity or access sacredness or possibility, when in fact it is constantly, continuously, already intrinsically a part of us. It's part of our essence. Cool. All right. Okay, so that's it from me, I think, except, you know, I'm still going to encourage you, if I may. You're watching, so I have a platform. I'm going to encourage you to, as you stand on either side of the line, as you stand at either ends of the beliefs and the opinions, and you look at the others that are so far away down the other line that they seem to be total idiots, because how can they be on that side? And as you look at that, I'm going to continue to invite you, and I am doing this as well, to simply look at the space between, to look at what is between us and them. What's the difference? Is there a bridge? Is there grey? Is there compromise? Is there negotiation? Is there somewhere we can meet in the middle instead of standing at either ends of this, of all of the topics, hot topics right now? Yeah, cool. Okay. That's my 17.78 cents for the day, for the week. And let's see if anyone else has anything they want to say. It's been a reasonably busy room. There's been a few people here. I've been doing lots of work in this room. As you can see, I'm pretty wide-eyed today. Okay. We are seeking an open forum of communication with you in regards to many of the words that you are in the moments of your lives considering to be powerful, or even those words that you consider to be insignificant. We wish for you to realize are all very significant. And yes, it is occurring at the moment that there is, and will continue to be occurring, that there will be a reframing of some of the meanings and contexts of the words that you are using. And words like potential, absolutely, we are wanting to give you some more clarification around the vibrational frequency of that word and how it is influencing you and impacting you. And so we are going to continue to be giving you alternatives to the words that you are using to consciously, continuously, in the moment, create your reality. And yes, we wish to speak with you for just a moment or two now about this word potential. And so we wish for you to consider that you are walking along a pathway and you are looking at the pathway and you notice that up ahead there is 5 different roads that you could take. And so you come to the crossroads with the 5 different roads and you stop and you look at those roads and you go, well, if I follow that road, there is a potential that I could I could be this person. If I follow that road, there is a potential that I could achieve this. If I follow that road, there is a potential that I could have success in this area. If I follow that road, there is a potential that I will have this, that, and the other. And excuse us, we will take some time. And so if you are wandering down this, you are standing at the crossroads of these 5 alternative pathways, and you are witnessing and recognizing and determining for yourself that certain pathways will lead to certain potentials, then what is occurring is that you are already setting yourself up for, well, what we want to say, what you would perhaps deem as failure. We would never deem it as failure, for all roads lead to the perfect path, or let's just say all roads are in fact the perfect path. And in this example, if you were to take any of the 5 roads, it simply does not matter. You are never off track. But aside from that, separate from that, we are not speaking to that right now. We are simply giving you an imagery that you could perhaps, we could help to explain what it is that we are trying to impart. So you are standing at the crossroads of the 5 pathways, and you are noticing that certain potentials could be activated in those pathways. But what is happening as you stand at those 5 pathways is because you are thinking about who you could possibly be, who you could potentially be, who you could maybe be if you did this and you did that and the other. What you are not doing is witnessing the infinite possibility of who you are and what you can achieve right now as you stand at this crossroads. And as you stand at that crossroads and you realize that you have infinite possibility to be anything and achieve anything that you wanted to achieve, what happens to those 5 pathways is that they disappear and they become a kaleidoscope of infinite pathways, all with different experiences that you could adventure and journey along. And so we hope that this very simple and very short, very brief for the moment, differentiation between possibility and potentiality, one being a future, meaning it is taking you out of the present, meaning that it is taking you out of noticing what possibilities are available to you, and the other being where you have access to an infinite amount of options and choices within your life. We are wanting to invite you to continue, begin if you haven't already, to also call in or ask for a recalibration or an update of the archetypal or guidance or godlike or deity energies that you work with. We feel it would be very beneficial for some of you who are watching this report to contemplate that it might be time for an upgrade in your spirit friends and those that you work with, and particularly around the archetypal energies of the planet as well. We are wishing to share with you at this time that some of the archetypes that you have been working with on in your human evolution, which have been very helpful to help you to understand yourself, are simply no longer current, and therefore are holding a residual energy of what it is that you are essentially trying to move out of. And so some of them may appear to still be continuously, we want to say empowering you or elevating you, but they are, we perceive that some of them are no longer elevating you and no longer teaching you anything. They are no longer giving you what it is that you need in order to grow and move on, because you have already learnt that lesson. And what some of them are doing instead of that is actually keeping you in somewhat of a, we want to say a little bit of a trick, thinking that you are continually growing and learning and evolving when it is an egoic part of you is telling you that you are, because you are still journeying with this particular archetype, yet you've outgrown the energy of that archetype. So we are just encouraging you to just sit in some meditation time and have a bit of a conversation with your guides and with the energies that you work with, be they any type of, be they elemental, directional, animal, etc., any type of allies, and just feeling into plant allies as well, of course, feeling into whether or not they still resonate with you and the you that you are, we want to say fully birthing now into the new world as well. You know, this sort of new version of you, if you are still in the process of birthing this updated, elevated version of you, then also contemplate the spiritual realms, knowing that you are in control of this, and with your conscious mind, you can call in and have choice and decision around what guides and what energies and entities you work with, because you are also a highly intelligent being. Okay. Yeah, that's nice. I had a strong awareness of that a few years ago, working with some particular beings who had never been in the human condition before, and so they simply didn't understand what it was to eat and to sleep and to drink water. And I was actually becoming quite malnourished because I was doing so much work with them. And they were very grateful for the work that I'd done, and they didn't realize that they were essentially kind of stopping part of my human self from really just functioning and thriving. So I had to sort of negotiate with them for my conscious mind, and they were sorry, really. They didn't know that what was happening. So yeah, it's important to understand that, you know, you are also a highly evolved being, and that you also have intelligence and awarenesses, and our guides are not all knowing above our own intuitive guidance as well. Your own intuitive, your own heart's intelligence is by far the most intelligent part of you, including any ascended masters or anything like that you work with and connect with. So yeah, it's always a wonderful thing to be continuously building that part, and also definitely checking in with all the external support that we get, and making sure that it's very current for you with where you are right now. Wonderful. Thank you for being where you are right now and for being who you are. It's an absolute delight to be skipping around this magnificent planet with you, sharing this experience with you in whatever way that happens. Sending you lots of love always, and so much reverence and appreciation. And yeah, I'll talk to you next week. If you want to check me out or work with me privately, you can have a look at my website, elizakendall.com, or feel free to send me a message and reach out. I'd love to speak with you. Okay, lots of love. Bye.